You know who it is, the horror flick digger dish, Super 6 Big Mitch. And I'm kicking in those with all three O's. And I'm bringing 28s, 101s because we Vegas sons, it's the Chronicles. And you in the Meadowlands. Yeah, you in the Meadows, man. And you already know what made me. 530. What that mean? Oh, that boy, that's it, baby. Boom! Hubba Dub, Scrub, 22-inch gold Dana Danes, and Big Bolo Yang can never be on McLean's, man. Nah, y'all. Welcome to Vegas Chronicles with the whole Super 6 Big Mitch. And today, like any other day, y'all know what we do. We kick action with factuals without no additives or no preservatives, just raw and uncut. Like what? Like summer sausages and crackers. You already know. Shout out to everybody that's been rocking with my platform. And, you know, we building this thing brick by brick, you know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's been keeping up with me, that's been giving me the encouragement that I've been using to continue my journey along this road. Yesterday, let's jump right off into it, of course. Yesterday, I spoke on why I would not speak on the war between White Street and Donna. A lot of people wasn't feeling that, you know. And again, I'm still not gonna speak on it because I'm gonna be honest with you. I hope people that tune in to hear what I speak about when it comes to Vegas and what happened in Vegas, I hope you hear, you know, to learn something from it, something you probably didn't know, or, you know what I'm saying, just to hear about what you never knew of. But to just hear about it just because it excites you or you want to hear about the destruction of that, I'm not going to do that. Because like I said, that war between Donna Street and White Street, I'm going to be honest with you. You know, when I look back on Crip wars, you know, you had Donna Street versus the 60s. You had the NTGs versus the 60s. You had the NTGs versus Donna Street. So on and so forth. I'm talking about with major wars. But no war has been uglier than that White Street versus Donna Street war. White Street is not a big gang, but it was a lot of casualties, you know, when, you know, as far as that was concerned. I'm not getting into that. That's on them. That's their business. And like I said, I'm not speaking on that. You know, and it's sad that some people really seek glorification for stuff like that. When I speak on wars, like when the Gersons got into it with the Coast, it wasn't to speak on it as if this is something that's cool. It was to show you this is what started all the madness. You see? And that's one thing about gang banging that needs to be talked about, because people talk about gang banging, you know, in the sense to where, you know, some people can look at it as other people glorifying, you know, black on black violence or self-infliction in the black community. When you speak on gang banging and you speak on it in a certain sense, people can get that from that. That's why a lot of people think when you talk about gangs, you glorifying it. But what people don't understand, you know, look, when it comes to gangs, man, a lot of that stuff, it looks appealing, it looks scary, it looks intimidating. It looks a certain way, but when you involve yourself in that stuff and you really see how the wheels turn on that, when you really see that inside that gang life, what you thought you were escaping from your normal life, that depression you thought you was escaping by embracing this new family of yours, the same thing that went on in the family that you was trying to escape in goes on in there too. The hatred, the shunning, the animosity, the backstabbing, even the physical part. Because when you join a gang, you're going to have some homies, they're going to think they're better than you. They're going to think they're harder than you. They're going to think they look better than you. They're going to think everything they do is better than you do. For real. And whatever you do, even if you put in work and put your life and your freedom on the line for that, they ain't going to think that's enough. You going to have people that's going to talk behind your back to other people just because you have a beautiful girlfriend and they want her. They going to go out their way to get into it with you. See, that's a part of the gang culture people don't talk about. You can be in the gang and you can still have a job. You can be a gang member, not a gang banger. But the gang bangers, I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of times, they not really focused on having money. They focused on inflicting damage on their enemies. So they not focused on having money. A gang banger cool with $20, a pistol, and some drink. He cool with that. You see? You give a gangbanger that, he cool. But people that's focused on their money, the gang members that's not really going out their way to look for people, if they run into somebody, it's going to be what it's going to be probably. But they not looking for nobody, you know. And if they see somebody, they not going to go out their way to get at them. That's a gang member. But they going to come back to the neighborhood, put on a color, drink a beer or two, you know. But they not finna go out their way to do nothing that's going to get them sent to jail. That's the difference between a gangbanger and a gang member. For real. So when you're a gangbanger, you going to realize if you join this gang, if you become a gangbanger, you going to realize that there's a rift between the gangbangers and the gang members. You see? You go see that when you go to the penitentiary, and let me tell y'all something. Vegas Chronicles. Oh, this is a good one. Watch this. This is the real what they don't tell you about in gangs. The Gerson is the biggest gang in prison and on the street. All right? In prison, they're really deep. There's a lot of Gersons in prison. Number one, because for some reason, people think it's a trend to say you from the Gerson when you go to prison. You see, the Gerson has done a lot of recruiting in prison. People just run to the Gerson for some reason. You got dudes that's never been to the Gerson, that's straight from Chicago, New Orleans, Kansas City, can't name a street in the Gerson. But in the joint, you swear up and down, they call themselves OGs. But that's how that is up in there. Okay? But on this particular day, this at NNCC, Gangsta Rob, you know, who was a honcho of the G's, the Gersons, rest in peace, Gangsta. He was orchestrating everything on the yard. I could speak on it. He R.I.P., man. You know what I mean? So Gangsta was running things. You know, Gangsta was the man when it came to the Gersons on NNCC yard. So, you know, when it came to the drugs, Gangsta had all the drugs. You know, everything was going through Gangsta. He even bullied the Oakland boys, Big Zoe. He even bullied him. He had Zoe bringing him in work. You know what I mean? So what happened was Gangsta got too hot because he was into too much stuff. You know, and his name was coming up in too much stuff. Gangsta was PCing people up. He was threatening whole cars, you know, and stuff like that. So he was doing too much. So what they did is they put Gangsta under investigation. They locked him up. They just came one day when he didn't even expect it. They cuffed him. They wouldn't even let him roll his property up, right? But they locked him up. But y'all, people that been an NNCC member, Flag and Moose, the two COs, they was real cool, you know, especially with the Gersons. So they let me and Slow from Reno roll Gangsta property up. I kept all his contraband and stuff like that, right? But before Gangsta left, Gangsta had got a big PKG in, and he had a cat named Falfy, right? Everybody remember Falfy. Falfy used to claim Gerson. This dude ain't never seen a Gerson, but he became a Gerson up in there. And he was up on the Trip Mac and all them. He be with Lil Bread to him every now and then. They took a liking to Falfy. He was a cool dude. You could tell he was a square. He wasn't no criminal type, you know, a hardened criminal type dude. He just got caught up and came to the joint. But he started rocking with the Gersons, right? That was his worst mistake right there, as you finna see. So when Gangsta get locked up, Falfy got all his work. You know, he got bud, he got everything, right? So Trip Mac them, they know he got it. So when they seen Gangsta wasn't getting out the hole no time soon. Because when Gangsta went to classification, they left him back there, pending the investigation. He was under investigation. So he can be back there, or he can even get shipped off the yard. His whole status was in question. Didn't nobody know if he was coming back to the yard. Didn't nobody know if they was going to ship him, right? So Falfy got all his work. Now, ain't nobody messing with him. You know, Trip Mac with him every day, right? Making sure don't nobody mess with him. But when they found out Gangsta was finna be back there in the hole, look what his own homeboys did. And it's real spill. And they know who they is, and they know I'm not lying. They went to Falfy and lied and told Falfy that Gangsta sent a kite to the yard and told Falfy to get him some of what he had. A little bit of everything, per se. So he went in gangster PKG and gave them what they want. Right? So they did what they did. But see, they took the bud and they were smoking it. And you know, it got good to them. So they kept coming back. And Falfy started like, man, y'all show gangster said this, and they, you know, Trip don't like to be questioned. So Trip, yeah, he said it. Woo, woo, woo. So Falfy gave them what they wanted. But it got to the point to where Falfy, he kind of knew something was wrong. So he didn't want to have nothing to do with it because the package was getting real short. So what Falfy do is Falfy basically gave the package to them. Like, here, y'all can keep the rest of this, because if gangster come and he see what I got, I think he gonna be mad at me because the thing is mostly gone. So he give it to them. Here, take this, right? So look, they end up letting gangster out the hole. Yeah, he coming back to the yard. So he sung word that he was coming back. I got out the hole like 3 weeks before gangster. Okay? So when I got out, all this was going on. They moved me in Unit 4. All this was going on, right? So when they found out gangster was coming to the yard, you know, they knew that he wanted his PKG. And they knew not to play with gangster like that, right? So now, Dutch finna hit the fan. Look what they do. Now remember, foul for your homie. Right? So, when gangster get out the hole, they confront Falfy, but Trip them acting like they never gave him a kite, saying that gangster said get him that. They approached him like, where that package at? He looking at them like, what you mean? I gave it to y'all. But they looking at him like, you ain't give us nothing. So y'all know where I'm going with this, right? They look at him like, you ain't give us nothing. Gangster didn't want to hear none of that. Gangster basically, y'all better get my, y'all know how gangster was pointing his finger. Y'all better get my buck. I don't care about nothing. Y'all better, all y'all getting off the yard. Y'all remember how gangster came and said that? What happened? How did they rectify that? I'm going to tell you how they rectified that. They tricked Falfy, basically, because he knew, he like, what I do, I gave it to y'all. They tricked Falfy into the bathroom, right? And they beat him within an inch of his existence. I swear to God. Tony Polk, am I lying? They beat him within an inch, and then look what, after they beat him, he didn't do nothing wrong. Nothing. But y'all want to be in gangs so bad. Y'all think these cats love y'all. Y'all think these cats loyal to y'all. No, they loyal to the need of you. And once they no longer need you, then they're no longer loyal to you, as you see. Because they beat him within an inch of his existence. And then Trip Mac, the main one that was getting it from him, that wasn't enough for him. Trip punished him some more, then put him in the shower. Look, they put him in the shower and turned the water on the boy and left him up in there. Turned the water on the boy and left him up in there. They remember that. See, that's what your homeboys will do to you. That's what your homeboys will do to you. That's a part of the game don't nobody like to talk about, man. And it's not about me bashing where I come from. That happen everywhere you go. You know? People don't really be who they say they are. It don't matter where you from. Everybody went through that. I remember I was on Indian Springs Yard, and the North got tired of they people doing whatever it was they was doing. So look what the North started doing. The North, when you come to the yard and you was from Northtown, it didn't matter if you was from Donna, Hard Time Hustler, NTG, ABM, it didn't matter where you from. If you was from the North, when you came on that yard, if didn't nobody know you, like if you wasn't already established or reputable like that, and you just was a, say, gang member, when you came to that yard, look how they set you up. The North was cold with it. Look, they'll organize a domino game right there in front of the units. In Indian Springs, they had these long garbage cans. They was real long, and people used to play dominoes, spades. You know what I mean? Like 8 people can play cards. Like 2 sets of people can play cards, dominoes on them long old things, right? So the North, they'll organize dominoes or whatever, and whoever come to the yard, they gotta come to the game. Even if you don't know how to play dominoes or cards, you come into their game. You go either stand around or you go get in. If you know how to play, they gonna let you in. I used to love to watch. With somebody from the North hit the yard, look, I'm going, listen, if I can catch it right, I'm going to the coffee shop, I'm getting me some ice cream. I'm finna go get me, man, listen, I'm finna watch this because this gonna be good. Look, because when they do their thing, they had this tall cat from Hard Time Hustler named C-Los, right? They call him Los. Real tall, heavy-handed. I've been knowing Los all his life. Los, heavy-handed, tall, hit hard, right? Cool as a, he real cool though. But the boy hit hard. So look, they organized the little, domino game, right? And so whoever just hit the yard, I be sitting over there like this here. I be telling my homeboys, I used to be like, hey, watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. I be sitting there eating. They be like, what's finna happen? I be like, you see, watch this, watch this, watch this. Be sitting there eating, right? They'll be over there playing dominoes, and they be like, hey, homie. And they be asking them names and stuff. You can hear them. I watched so many of them happen. And you can hear them, right? They be like, hey, so you know such and such? And they be like, whoop, whoop, whoop. They'll be talking, right? And they'll just be playing dominoes, right? And I be watching, right? And out of the blue, when you least expect it, Los, it's always Los. I love it when it's Los, because I know they going to sleep when Los hit them. And they gonna go to sleep in some cold poses, too. And look, he hit one of them so hard, he was knocked out posing like he was running. He was knocked out on the ground. Look, he was on the ground like this, posing like he was running. Sleep. Los slid him. Boom. That's how he was that's how you got your oil check when you came to the joint messing with the North. When you came up over there and somebody fired on you, because if you didn't go to the game and you were just standing around there, you finna get fired on. And if you run, that's how they know. But if you get fired on and you bomb back, okay, cool. But if Los hit you, you all good, because 9 times out of 10, you going to sleep. They gonna be waking you up. And if you still with it, you with it. But you going to sleep. And if you want that fade, you get that fade. But you going to sleep. He gonna put you in a position to whether you gonna want that fade, you gonna fight, or you gonna do whatever, you gonna fight or you gonna fold. That's how the North did it. The Gersons, when you hit the yard, you go down there where the Cubans be, by the bathrooms, and we used to go down there so much to the point to where DMC used to be a referee, him, homie, all them. They used to be referees on the back. We used to go down there so much, they got tired of us. Coach Willis kicked us up out of there because all we did was go down there by the stalls where the Cubans used to be and just fight. Everybody did. That's how they checked their cars. That's how they weeded and seeded who didn't need to be there out of there, But I'm going to tell you something, man. I done seen dudes that was childhood friends. I done seen one turn on the other behind this game bull crap, man. For real. I done seen dudes from neighborhoods make dudes stick their childhood friend because they was out of pocket. So they sunk their childhood friends, 2 dudes that grew up together. They from the same neighborhood, but they closer with one another than the rest. They made one of them stick the other one because he was out of pocket. That's how your homies will do you, man. You see? And I'm going to tell you something, and I'm not going to say no names. I'm going to just show you how dirty homies is. I had a homeboy, right? And it was a cat from NTG, J-Rat. He hit the yard, right? And J-Rat name, it was when the Gersons and the NTGs was out there going at it. His name was ringing. So it was some Gersons that had animosity with J-Rat, right? And J-Rat, when he hit the yard, I think J-Rat got popped or something, so he wasn't really healthy. I think he got popped somewhere, I don't know. But it was a Gerson that was helping him take his tub, help him carry his property. And at that time, the Gersons and the NTGs were arch nemesis. But this Gerson that was helping them was cool with J-Rat. They didn't have that animosity. You see, just like it's certain NTGs that I don't have, like K-Dog. I ain't never been at war with K-Dog. Me and him grew up together. He caught me slipping in regular states. He showed me that he was my partner. He caught me slipping. You know, so K-Dog showed me, and then me and him been back to back. Me and him and Lil Craze, Larry Bowman, Lil Craze from 60s. We was back to back in Memphis. Lil Craze was up there whooping them Memphis dudes out. People don't talk about Lil Craze. Lil Craze from 60s had hands. He was up there whooping them cats from Memphis. Had us in there fighting about 30 dudes from Memphis. They beat the brakes off us in that class. But we held our own. We held our own, you know. But back to this game. To anybody that's listening to me, look, man, if you join the gang, bruh, that'll be the worst mistake of your life. I advise you, if you want to join anything, man, join a fraternity, join the military, join anything but a gang, man, for real. Because I'm going to tell you something, and I can't only, listen, gang bangers, a lot of times we only hang out with each other because without one another, we're nobody. I'm not saying everybody, you know, but in most senses, a lot of gangbangers, we hang around each other because we're nobody. We didn't have our fathers. If you get us along, a bunch of us can't read. We don't know our social security numbers. We don't know nothing, but we know how to load up assault rifles. We know how to do all that other stuff, but we don't know how to do the things we need to do. We don't know how to go to school. We don't know how to talk without saying, you know what I'm saying, or you feel me. We don't know how to have decent conversation. Our grammar is perverted. Everything, our reality is perverted. You see, when we wake up in the morning, we don't say grace and eat pancakes and eggs. When we wake up in the morning, we brush our teeth with a Newport and we rinse our mouth out with alcohol, 40 ounces, malt liquor. That's what we do. You don't want that filth in your life, man. Not to prove a point, not to prove you tough. Because tough people, you know what they do? They listen to their parents. Tough people, they don't like to fight. They like to go to school. They like to learn. They like to read. They like to fail a test because they know next time they take it, they go pass it. See, those are tough guys. They don't go around blaming people for their misfortunes. They accept their life as it is with their pluses and minuses, and if they don't like it, they work to change it. You see? But you can never change nothing if you don't learn nothing. Take y'all behind the school. These cats that walk around here, they get out the penitentiary with these big old muscles that walk around the street like they don't care about nothing, that looks appealing. But remember the first thing I said before appealing. It looks. Looks can be deceiving. For real. Because a lot of these dudes that walk around here with these big old muscles, you get them in a room with a detective and they looking at federal time, they turn into big teddy bears. For real. They sing so good, you'd have thought they was part of the Rat Pack with Frank Sinatra. They be singing. So take your behind to school. Listen to your mama. That's gangster. If you got kids, take care of them. The female you had them with didn't make them by herself. 50-50. Take care of them. It got half your chromosome and half hers, so you obligated to do your part. Take care of your children and quit worrying about men. Oh, and for the ones that got a problem with the poetry I do on my shorts, the fact that you listen to them, that you would take time out your day to listen to something that I be having fun with, shows me I'm winning all the way around. Brother, when God put his hands on you, can't nobody take them off you. When I do poetry, I just sit there in front of a camera and say the first thing come to my head. It's called word volleying. I'm just playing. But some people think I'm really doing poetry. They obsessed with me. That's crazy. But it's cute. I got that type of influence on people. I always had it. My daddy told me I was cut from a different cloth, man. That's why I'm succeeding. And youngsters, you can succeed too by believing in yourself, not them. Get away from them. They are the reason why You don't live to your potential. They are the reason why you end up in the penitentiary. They are the reason why you stress your parents out. They are the reason why your life don't go as expected. They are the reason why we find ourselves blaming other races for our own infliction. Quit listening to them. It's a whole vast world out there that you haven't explored yet. Get up out your neighborhood, because there's more to life than just that. And them dudes you with, that you be drinking with, that you think y'all tough and about that body, but they could never validate you, bruh. Because if they did, y'all wouldn't run when the police come. And let's just keep it real. The police don't run from y'all. Y'all run from the police. So who run the streets? I'm just telling you the truth, youngster. I know you want to believe you Mr. Whatever, but that's fictitious. Get that up out your head, man. Because you bleed just like the next man. And the reason why a lot of y'all end up the way you do, because you're afraid to lose a battle when the war is your life. Sometimes it's best to walk away from things and people that's unhealthy for you. I tell you that all the time. Those are battles worth losing. Napoleon Bonaparte said, the greatest battles are won when not a lick of blood has been shed. Think about that. Let that marinate. Now, people, you can read the 48 Laws of Power, 33 Strategies of War, Art of Seduction, Mastery, and the 50th Law. You can read all them books by Robert Greene, but let me tell you a secret. You can find all that stuff in the Bible. The 48 Laws of Power, all that stuff is in the Bible, man.